What's going on, guys? This is Ryan, the Hot Toys Collector with Ryan and Crystal's Reviews, and we got breaking news today. We got final production photos of Iron Patriot from Avengers Endgame. Looking forward to this figure. Can't wait to get him in hand, but we're going to check him out today. But before we get into that, please drop down, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you're into the Hot Toys content or if you're into anything that Crystal does as well. And please drop a comment. Let me know. Are you picking this figure up? Are you going to wait to see what it finally looks like for some of the reviews? Or are you going to wait for my review? I appreciate that. And without further ado, let's hit the intro and let's go. All right, so we got about 20 photos to go through here. So we've got a pretty good mix of different angles. We're going to see the figure from most of the front. We're not really going to get to see the back very much. And then we're also going to get to see the head sculpt, which is a full head sculpt of Rhodes, which we have not gotten before. So that's refreshing to get. So first photo we got here, we got Rocket on his back, just like when he shows up in the movie after all the rubble and Thanos has destroyed Avengers Mansion, Avengers compound, and all the rubble down. He pops through, Hulk comes through, Ant-Man as Giant Man bursts through, and then Rocket's riding on Iron Patriot. So we got a little bit of a recreation of that scene. So let's zoom in here a little bit, as you can see some of the finer details here. I like this. It looks really nice. I'm not a fan of this lighter blue style. I would prefer if it would have been the navy blue color. If you go back and watch it, as we've probably all watched this movie numerous times now, the filter in those final scenes, he looks a lot darker than what we are getting. I would have preferred a navy blue look, closer to the blue that we got for the original Iron Patriot, than this lighter blue color. But all in all, I mean, it's still not a bad figure whatsoever. So next photo we get here is a flying pose with Rocket riding on the back, which is pretty cool. We get a look here at the gun. Let's zoom in a little bit here. You can see the gun. I like this, how this kind of is more attached to the back, single, and then it looks like these arms right here were articulated forward. We've got some chain gun, Gatling gun style clips. I like how they've got the fire coming out of his hands and his boots here. I mean, it's a really big figure, and it's probably going to, take up a big presence in your display. So that's something to look forward to. And we got Rocket here again, and then we get a look at the gun straight on. That looks pretty cool. Again, as we zoom in here a little bit, get a little better look at the finer details. We get some decals right here. We got these two, we'll call them circular looking weapons here. They remind me of on the Iron Man 3 figure, where the flares came from that were on Tony's legs. They were down here. I don't know if that's what these are for. We don't really get to see him use a lot of his weapons in the movie, but he's definitely going to be using that. And then we're going to see some missiles here in just a second. Let's go to the next photo. Here we go. So we got these missiles is similar to what we got for the Infinity War Machine. Pretty much the same setup, except to me they look a little bit bigger. They've still got the little closing doors, I believe, that the War Machine had as well. I don't have the figure from War Machine, but I will be getting it soon. And then as we zoom in here, you can see some guns here on the arm. So the articulation on this looks pretty basic for your Iron Man figures. You're going to get your typical elbow joints, and then you're going to get some bicep swivel here. You see there's a little bit of wear right in here. I don't know if that is on the figure itself or is that from these shoulder pads when they were posing the figure. So we'll see. And then that opens up and you connect back there. And then, of course, you got your big gun right there. So it looks really good. There's another photo. This is a flying pose. So you get a better look here at the legs, the inside. So we've got these same circular weapon holding units, I guess what we would call them, maybe for flares. I don't know. They do say danger right there on that. I'm not really sure what that's for. You got some good lighting effects right there. I think that's just the Photoshop detail, though. I'm not sure if this is actually a light that's going to be included in the chest reactor. It kind of looks like that could be the setup. Like these will actually light up, but we'll have to wait to see till we get the figure in hand. And of course you get your typical lights in your eyes for the mask. This is a nice little pose. He's shooting out a repulsor blast. You can see, zoom in here. So this guy is very well cut from his shoulders, gets down to a thinner waist, and then comes out. So he's going to be really bulky up here. I don't know what that's going to do for trying to pose him freestand. It could create some issues, some balance issues, but probably nothing too crazy that we shouldn't be able to handle, right? So you get a closer look here at the Mast head sculpt. We get some little details right here. I'm not really sure what those are for. I don't know if that's some sort of weapon or what it is. I don't remember him using anything like that in the film. This is one of those figures that's going to be kind of hard to get in poses from the movie because we didn't really get to see him that much just kind of on his own in the film. That in battle scene in Endgame is just crazy, and there's so much going on. I mean, I've watched Endgame probably 20 or 30 times, and there's still things in that final battle scene that I haven't seen before that I'll catch on rewatches. So here we get a look at these missile holder blasters that they've got the doors shut. Get a closer look here at the gun. Looks really nice. I mean, he's definitely going to be bulky up here. He's got some missiles right here on his wrist gauntlets. Got the gun there. You can see a little better. And then you're going to get the regular double jointed knees, things like that. So here we get our first look at the Roadie head sculpt, which I think they did a really good job with. So up to this point, and if you want to go back and check out my review for the War Machine from Endgame, which is the War Machine Mark 6, we still got the same old Roadie head sculpt in the mask. So all you were really getting to see was basically this part of Roadie. You weren't getting to see everything else. So it's nice that they've included this. And I'm going to be interested to see if this will be interchangeable with the War Machine 6 or any of the other War Machines. If we're going to be able to take that head sculpt off and at least get this one seated in. I don't know. Just by the looks of this, it looks like there's probably a ball joint right there, and then you're going to have the neck piece. Those other ones, I believe the head just pops off, and it's just the top part of the head. So if you could separate the neck from the head, and if it looks all right, you might be able to pose him that way. But I'm not really... looking at this, I'm not certain that's going to be a possibility. So we get some more look at the lights here, and then we get another look here at those circular items. So this is kind of the pose like he's sliding down a rock. So he's about the repulsor blast right there. Looks really nice. I think we saw something similar to that in a couple pictures earlier. So here's another photo. Light source is a little bit different. This is a little more natural light, so we can see the details on it a little bit better. It's not really filtered out in Photoshop too much. I do like that looks like there's some sort of joint here. I don't know if you'll be able to move these up and down. Every picture I've seen so far, they look to be in the same position. The missiles, I like those. I mean, like I said, we got something similar to this with the Infinity War Machine. So good thing. It's a good thing they're including that because, I mean, he's Iron Patriot, and he's a beefed up Iron Patriot. I guess he's Iron Patriot Mark II, and we got to have him beefed up. And we get the Colonel James Rhodes right there, which they always do that with the War Machine. So that's a nice touch. They added that. Another look here. He's pointing, he's about to shoot off the gun here towards the distance here. Again, I mean, the figure itself looks really good. I think that's going to be a really nice figure to pose with your Iron Man Mark 85, which is right here on cue. So the 85 looks nice, of course. We haven't talked about him very much. I don't have him yet. I'm in the process of getting him, so stay tuned for that review when he shows up. And you see here, these two look really good to pose together. I would probably go more battlefield or battle damaged 85 with him than I would the regular, but that's just me. So here we see the gun pointing straight up. The missiles attachments are gone, and then he's just kind of standing there. So he's very big through the shoulders and the chest. So I would say that you're probably not going to have a lot of problems when you get him in a pose like this. When you kind of go more dynamic, I would say there's a chance that you're going to have some balancing issues. And I would say forget about a dynamic stand that's going to be able to hold him, because I'm assuming he's probably going to be pretty heavy. I would say that, I mean, when you think about it, the War Machine from Infinity War was really heavy. I would say he's going to be heavier than him. Even the plastic Ironmonger is a heavy figure. Igor's a heavy figure. I don't have the Hulkbuster, which I know he is about the heaviest. I don't think he's going to weigh that much, but he's going to weigh a little bit. So we get the same kind of pose. So you're kind of going to be locked in with just a few poses with him, which is kind of disappointing when you think about it. You're only probably going to get maybe 10 poses or 7 or 8 poses. There's probably going to be more of a pose with the Roadie head sculpt, the Unmasked, and then maybe you could get it where Tony has just snapped. That'd be really cool if we could get a shot of that. That'd be neat. I'm not sure what that photo was. Sorry about that. That looks like a photo of one of these photos. So here we go. We get the chest piece off. So let's zoom in here. See these little minor little details here. Looks really nice. These they look like bumps everywhere. It's kind of different. Usually you get a lot of wires and stuff in there. This looks like it's some sort of protective armor under the armor. And then there's a triangle right there, probably some sort of eject type thing for the helmet. But we'll have to look at that when we get him in hand. So he's not going to ship for a little while. He's probably going to be, I'd say if we start seeing him ship to the U.S. by the end of the year, I would think that would probably be a win. And here we go. It's another photo where he's kind of in that more natural light outside. Looks nice. I mean, it's a solid looking figure. Same here. He looks kind of funny like this for some reason. I don't know what it is, but he kind of looks funny to me. I think it's the legs and the way this is cut down, and then it gets really thin, and then he's got his legs spread out the way he does. It just looks kind of funny. Here he is with the Mark 85. Again, the waist is really thin when you compare him to up here. So, you know, you want to be wary of, you want to be conscious of that when you are posing the figure, because if you put him in a pose like this, you start taking pictures, people are probably going to be saying, hey, he looks so funny. Because when you compare him to the Mark 85 here, see, the cut isn't nearly as drastic. So Tony's waist kind of matches more of his chest, but it's because this chest is so big and these shoulders are so big and these shoulder pad armors are so big, it kind of gives it that illusion. Then here we go again with the Roadie head sculpt from the side. I think the Roadie head sculpt looks solid. On a scale of 1 to 5, it's probably a 3 or a 4. This is their first, I'd say 3.5. We'll go in the middle. This is their first attempt at a full-on unmasked Roadie head sculpt. So I'd like to go back and look at some of my other ones from the War Machine 1, 2, and 6. Let's see, yeah. And take a look and see, especially this, just basically the facial features. I don't remember his nose being so big in those, on those first 3 that I mentioned. So that's something to look at. And honestly, I don't remember his mouth being that big either. And we got that photo there. Looks real nice. Again, I really wish this blue would be a darker navy blue. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it was very dark in that scene, so the filter made this look darker. I never thought it was black, but I thought it was more of a navy blue. And then when I first saw these photos, I was like, well, wait a second here. This looks a little different. So that's the last photo we got to look at. I appreciate you all watching. My socials are going to be popping up right there. Please hop over to Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I appreciate it. I'm all the time posing figures. We got a couple nice poses with the Two-Face figure that the video just dropped on the channel for that. So take a look at that if you would. And that's going to be it for this video. Hope everyone has a good one. We'll see you in the next one.